September, late summer day at McMahon Stadium. Great day for football. It's the Cats and the Horses, the team with the best record in the league against the team that was the best in the league last year, the defending Grey Cup champions. Time for a little B&B in Alberta.
Absolutely. The Killer Bees should go to work in the passing game today. Brandon Banks leads the Canadian Football League with 96 targets. The last time these two teams met, he had 9 catches in the ball game. Not to be outdone is Reggie Begelton, over 900 yards already this season. Leads the Canadian Football League with 7 touchdowns. When they last met, he had 8 catches for $119.
Dave Dickinson, Stampeders coming off a sweep, riding warm, coming in. Won the last 2, a sweep against their Alberta rivals. 7-4 record against Orlando Steinauer's teams coming off a bye. 9-day business trip in Alberta, and they have won 4 straight games, and as mentioned, the 9-2 record. The last time these two teams met, the Cats ended a 14-game losing streak against the Calgary Stampeders that dated back to 2012. There's another 14-game losing streak on the line today. The Cats have not won at McMahon Stadium in over 14 years. Long, long time. Trying to snap that today. Snapping downfield quickly. Calgary Stampeders special teams. A flag flies late, and special teams could be a factor today. Dane Evans at the helm once again, and getting another start. 4-1 record.
Yeah, look for Dane Evans to go to work. His last outing.
Unnecessary roughness, Calgary, number 27. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Evans' last outing, of course, was Labor Day with the Cats coming off a bye. In that game, he caught absolute fire, completing 19 consecutive passes at one point during the second half of that ballgame.
A good starting point. Native of Sanger, Texas, former Tulsa Golden Hurricane, takes over with Jeremiah Masoli's injury and has done an admirable job. The Cats keep winning. Throwing right away. Far side, far hash. And a guy who has been brilliant of late, Braylon Addison, with the catch close to a first down for the Cats. Quickly back center and right into the arms of Mike Rose. Anthony Coombs. And now a 2-and-out out of the chute for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Good D from the front line.
Yeah, terrific start for a Calgary Stampeder defense. Mike Rose really emerging from his defensive tackle spot this season.
Liram Hiralahu. First punt. And another good starting point, 35-yard line. Terry Williams back to return, and Bo Levi Mitchell has returned. Started the season, first 2 games, then was down with a pectoral injury for 7 straight, has played the last 2, shaking off a little bit rust, but he does what he normally does, and that's win.
Well, that's the bottom line. People will talk about the 3 interceptions last week against the Edmonton Eskimos, but Calgary Stampeders 2-0 since Bo Levi Mitchell's return.
And Bo 11-0, riding his own personal streak against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who have never beaten Bo Levi Mitchell. Play action out of the chute, almost picked off. Dylan Wynn almost had a pick, and it might have been 6.
Well, Dylan Wynn from his D tackle position, directly in front of the middle linebacker, Tuggle, 22. Eyes on the quarterback all the way as he penetrated.
Wynn's had a breakout year for the Cats. Former Toronto Argo and a Grey Cup champion with the Double Blues. 2nd down and 10. Blitz coming. Ball going and overthrowing. Eric Rogers was Bo Levi Mitchell. So inauspicious start for both sides. 2-and-outs as they ease into this one in their second meeting, their rematch of Week 4.
Again, matchup between 2 of the top teams in the Canadian Football League. Tremendous early season battle between these two clubs.
Rob Maver gets that away, but just to Frankie Williams. And Williams spun down. You have a feeling that both special teams might be frothing from the mouth here today. Last time they met, Hamilton took to the distance, helped them to the victory. Near the foothills here in Calgary. 7-4 Stamps, 9-2 Ticats. Meet once again. Second series now for Dane Evans. Evans pumped and had to let it go. Brandon Banks incomplete. Banks had 3 touchdowns the last time these two teams met. 1 on a return, 2 on receptions.
We take a look at the rest of this Hamilton Tiger Cat offense. Keep an eye on Jalen Ackland. His role seems to have increased a little bit in the absence of Luke Tasker from this lineup. Darius Sirocco at right guard, his former Calgary Dino, who played his college football right here at McMahon Stadium.
Ackland, number 80, watch for him. No Luke Tasker for the 3rd straight game for the Cats as a hamstring issue. And another overthrow. Again for Banks. So both teams sputtering here offensively early in this one. Last time they met, Calgary got out to a 14-0 lead. Hamilton had to rally back thanks to special teams. Ended up winning that game. Low kick by Hiralahu. Once again, it's Williams. Dancing here. He's brought down by Curtis Newton on the special teams tackle. So Bo Levi Mitchell back in the saddle, back at the helm for the Stampeders once again.
And keep an eye in this Calgary offense on Colton Hunchak. Last player picked in the draft has certainly made an impression here in his rookie season. With Eucumbre Williams a little bit nicked up on that offensive line. Justin Lawrence, the second-year man out of University of Alberta, gets the start at center.
Chatting with Dave Dickinson yesterday, coach of the Stamps. He wanted some more explosive plays. Feels now that had a chance to make big plays with the main man back. Bo Levi Mitchell standing in the pocket. And that was knocked down. Justin Tuggle almost had his first pick.
There you see Justin Tuggle stacked in behind the defensive tackle. Dylan Wynn drops into his coverage. You see with a couple linemen just flashing in front of Bo Levi Mitchell as he looks to throw that football. It appears that Tuggle was out of his vision for just a moment there.
Both quarterbacks right now 1 for 6 to start this. Second down conversion attempt again near the 40 and brought down shy of a first down once more is Michael Klukas. So again, awaiting a first down. Both teams 2 2-and-outs.
And I'm not convinced that how much it's necessarily that feeling out process, but certainly two defenses that are very well prepared and aware of the ability of each other's respective receiving corps in particular.
Frankie Williams snagged down at the 30-yard line. So the pads are popping. Some hitting going on here. Ebert Levels wearing the mic for Montreal defensively. Former Alouette Ed Gainey for Saskatchewan. Have the volume up. Forward to that one right after this. Anthony Coombs goes right side on a good running play by Coombs. Jackson Bennett listed as the starter for today. Bennett coming off his biggest game as a CFLer, got a touchdown. A Labor Day game against the Argos, but it's been Coombs as the tailback in the backfield so far.
Yeah, we'll see both of these guys over the course of this game. In fact, we've seen both in there already, but situationally, I suspect that they'll try to run certain plays with certain whether it's Coombs or Bennett will try to play to the strengths of those two running backs.
Both teams don't run a lot. They pass a lot. Evans passing here. Over the middle. Nice grab. Breland Addison with some room here. And the biggest play so far from a team that has a lot of big plays. In fact, number one in explosions, big plays in the Canadian Football League, the Tiger Cats.
And you're going to get a good look here at how getting receivers at different levels impacts the defense, particularly that second level where the linebackers are. You're going to see that there are a couple of underneath routes here that are going to hold deep. So you've got routes underneath here, and that leaves a level open to drop that over top of the linebackers, as they can't get a deep drop to take that route away.
37-yard gain for Addison. And Brandon Banks can't haul it in. Look at Calgary starting D. Some interesting tete-a-tete today. Some great matchups.
Yeah, certainly. We'll take a look at the Canadian content on this defense today. Three guys that have done a terrific job. Derek Wigan out of Queens at defensive tackle. Corey Greenwood, the former Concordia star, at middle linebacker. And Royce Mechie, one-time Guelph Griffin, doing a great job at free safety in his sophomore season.
Also have the most explosive team. Number one in big plays against the team that prevents the most big plays in Calgary's D. And over the middle, shy of a first down, be Marcus Tucker. Tucker is in for Tasker at slot. And this is going to be third down. Looks like they're going to go for the points here. They're going to be almost 3 yards short. Lirim Hairolahu with a field goal attempt.
Cats, the first team to strike with a first down. Hoping to convert that into something on the scoreboard.
Hairolahu, 26-yarder, and puts that through, and the Cats take the first swing here. First down, big play, and the first points on the board.
He's undefeated. It's remarkable that in his 8th year in the Canadian Football League that he's still undefeated against anyone, let alone two teams.
Handing it off. Kadeem Carey. Calgary's first down of the ball game. Carey had a couple of touchdowns in the last meeting, including one on a blocked kick. Scoop and score, and also scored later. I mentioned his name a few times today.
Yeah, no question of that. That was when Kadeem Carey first was making his way onto the Stamps roster, playing more on special teams, but he's the guy whom they feel now at running back gives them their best opportunity to win. Obviously productive on the ground, good catching the football, but very sound in terms of blocking assignments as well.
They'll give it to him again, follows some bodies, just a couple yards before he is engulfed near the 50-yard line.
And taking a look at the Hamilton Tiger Cat defense.
Homecoming.
Yes, sir. Jagarrett Davis, former Stampeder, makes his return to his old stomping grounds. Simone Lawrence, known most as perhaps the CFL's most vocal player, but he's been perhaps the best defensive player in the league thus far in 2019. And Tunde Adeleke, the former Stampeder, done a terrific job at starting free safety for the Hamilton Tiger Cats after moving over in free agency.
His first trip back to McMahon. Grey Cup champion with the Stamps a year ago. Going up high was Josh Huff, but unable to come down with the ball, and the drive again stalls for the Stampeders, who have to boot it away.
Well, perhaps gaining a little bit of ground. Much talk over the last few weeks about the importance of field position, particularly field position to start drives, and the impact that that has had on the outcome of games. You know, the Stampeders are a team that certainly plays for that, so they gain a little bit of an advantage here in terms of that field position.
Angled kick for Frankie Williams. 3-0 Cats. Dane Evans and his crew back at it in a moment.
Where's Daddy? Where'd he go?
The 2019 Nissan Rogue with available rear intelligent emergency braking. part of a suite of safety technology designed to help you look out for your family. And now, finance a Rogue from as low as 0% for 84 months or get up to $5,000 standard rate finance cash on other select models.
With $1 Million Touchdown to Win, we want to give you a reason to celebrate. And now we're making it even more exciting to shop your favorite products, like Christie Crackers, selected varieties. Get in the game. Shop Save On Foods today.
Hey, the mountains are calling. Namaste. Namaste to you. Coors Light, the mountains are calling.
In the sea of red today, there is some black and gold. Some Hamilton fans have traveled a long way, but no one further than that guy's dad. Here is Jermaine Franklin.
Absolutely, Rod. Right here is Damon Evans, the dad of Dane Evans. Can you tell us a little bit of a story? He said he was in freshman year in high school when you guys were watching a CFL game together in Texas.
Yeah, we're football junkies, obviously, me being a coach and him being a gym rat. And so anytime there's football on, we're trying to watch it. And, we're flipping through ESPN, and it's in the summertime, and CFL's on, and I think it was actually a Calgary game we were watching because they showed us Banff and the hotel out there, and it was pretty awesome. So we were hooked on that.
Yeah, one thing that Dane said was he couldn't tell the score or who the Stamps were playing, but that was a lasting impression, and it was a place you guys wanted to visit.
Yes, yeah. We've always been interested in it. Just seeing that big Fairmont Castle out there, man, that thing is awesome. So, yeah, we're really excited to go see it. And luckily, I got to go see it this week while I was here.
Major foul.
Yeah, I'm glad that you were able to come a day early and do that visit. I know that Dane Evans is out there right now, so you're paying close attention.
Sorry about that.
My very last question for you is about the relationship between you and your son. He said you were his only quarterback coach until he finally got to college.
Yeah, and I've been a coach for 25 plus years, and I've coached a lot of good players, and he obviously was one of the best. And from the time he was just could talk, well, actually his first words were ball, and from the time he could talk and walk, he had a football in his hand, and so it just kind of came natural for that. Like I said, it's been an honor to coach him, and now getting an honor to watch him play. All the great players I've coached, and he's right up there with the best of them.
Thanks so much for your time, and he proved he's got the Evans toughness as well, as he took a heavy hit and got right back up. Appreciate that.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
All right, on. There's Coach E, as they call him, at Arlington Lamar in Texas. There's Banff Springs Hotel. That's the castle they talked about looking at on television. And Pop said to son, maybe someday you'll play up there and we can go visit it. Isn't that a great little story? And the game is such a family game. You're handed it down from parents or siblings. And quite obviously, the apple does not fall far.
No, certainly not. Dane Evans, the guy who's talked about by his teammates as being very genuine, the real deal. A guy who was an incredibly popular teammate as a backup quarterback, and these guys have certainly rallied around him since he took over the starting role from the injured Jeremiah Masoli.
Well, the Sun is back at it here on this drive. 1st and 10, and a cutback by Addison, and Addison goes left side for a first down and just saunters out of bounds. And this drive that started with Nikolai Kalinic on a pass when Dane Evans was roughed up. Penalty that took it into Calgary territory continues for the Cats.
Yeah, and that when you saw the replay, Calgary linebacker Winton McManus hit him up high.
Brandon Banks now getting a chance to run the football. So again, they have the matchup with combination of Jackson Bennett and Anthony Coombs, but they're quite willing to use their slot backs as running backs as well.
Well, yeah, this is the thing, and you heard the fellas in the studio talking a little bit about Hamilton finding ways to get that running game going, and this is their creativity as they've gone through a few starting running backs is to get other people involved in the ground game.
Red zone time, Evans and Anthony Coombs, ball thrown behind him, could not one-hand that. So it's going to be 3rd and 3, and again, this Cats drive will stall once more, and it'll be Lirim Hajrullahu coming out for a field goal attempt, another chippy here.
When you're the Hamilton Tiger Cats, you hate to see an opportunity slip away as that ball is just thrown a little bit behind him. Dad recognizing that near miss.
Dad would like to stay out. The Cats are staying out. They play in Edmonton next week, but he's got to go back and coach high school football next week. 6-0 after that drive, engineered by Dane Evans. So a little different start than last time when these two teams met, when Calgary stormed out to a 14-0 lead back at Tim Hortons Field in week 4. And Hamilton had to rally thanks to special teams. And you have a feeling, talking with the coaches, that they were really battening down the hatches this week after seeing Will Likely go back for a kick return. Brandon Banks take one back after a missed field goal.
Yeah, well, and Calgary had a blocked punt, which Kadeem Carey scored. They also executed a fake punt successfully.
Bo Levi Mitchell drops it in to Eric Rogers. First down, Stampeders.
Acrobatic catch here from Eric Rogers, number 2 receiver to the field, right there on the hash mark. He's just going to hook it up between defenders. You saw that twist and grab of a pirouette. Big receiver with a big catch radius.
He and Reggie Beggleton, both 7 touchdowns. They are touchdown machines. Bo, what a catch here by Beggleton. Juggling catch. Another first down as Bo Levi Mitchell felt that pocket collapse and still able to get it away.
Bo Levi Mitchell kind of accelerates his progression through his reads as that pocket starts closing in on him.
Back-to-back 19-yarders thrown by number 19, who happens to be number 19 on the all-time list now. Jamal Roll and Huff roll up on the far sideline. Sets up a second down, likely a throwing down here for the Stampeders.
Josh Huff doing a nice job since getting an opportunity to break into this lineup. NFL veteran of 37 games, originally a 3rd-round pick. The Philadelphia Eagles. His opportunity with Markeith Ambles out of the lineup from Oregon Duck.
Likely was a teammate as well in the alliance, now defunct, with Dylan Wynn, who's playing with today in the Arizona Hotshots. Mitchell goes for broke here, goal line, and almost picked by Richard Leonard. That close to his 3rd interception of the season.
The battle of the number 4s. Down there, Richard Leonard. It's a nice job fighting for position, undercutting the receiver here. Excuse me, that was number 1, Gurji Mayalin, not Eric Rogers on the play. Richard Leonard's had a strong season at that strong side halfback spot. Had a great rookie year a couple of years ago. Then kind of, I thought, had his ups and downs in his sophomore season, but he's really found his form here in 2019.
Rennie Paredes from the 42-yard line, and that's good. In this game, we have 2 of the top 4 all-time percentage leaders in field goal kicking. Actually, the top 4 all are still very active. Paredes is number 1 overall right now. And Sean White, Justin Medlock, and then Lirim Hajrullahu. And now the Stamps are on the board with 1:18 to go in the opening quarter. Reliable kickers.
An interesting case as you talk about these 2 kickers in particular. Both undrafted guys. Rene Paredes, Lirim Hajrullahu.
Both Grey Cup champions the last couple of seasons. Hajrullahu with the Argos 2 years ago. Kicked against Paredes again. Evans, play action, out of the backfield is Coombs. Corey Greenwood trying to chase him down. Finally brought down on that far side after a gain of about 6.
The Ticats try to take advantage of the play action. An opportunity created by the use of different guys. You're going to see Coombs come underneath this way before releasing to the flat. Brandon Banks coming back the other way, as we've seen him carry the ball on sweeps before to try and get a little bit of a hold inside on that defense. See Adams with the little sling out to Coombs. Gets a little bit of open space in the flat as a result of that play action, holding the linebackers in the box.
Second short yardage, 4 yards to go. Evans with time. Again over the top. And Marcus Tucker say hello to Corey Greenwood. Hello.
Corey Greenwood just kind of swallowed him up. He was waiting on this pass. You see him just to the left of the hash mark. Watch the reaction before the ball was even thrown. He's making his break toward Marcus Tucker.
Tucker, though, hanging on, and his progress enough for a first down. So even though he got the worst of that, the Cats get the best. The fact that they moved the chains. Greenwood, #1 in the CFL this season in tackles overall. Barring penalty, last play of this opening quarter. Direct snap to Addison. Follows some blocks and picks his way into Calgary territory. So the field goal kicker's doing all the scoring. Rather benign first quarter, but the offense is trying to get on track here. Two teams trying to make a statement here as we reach the 2/3 pole after the opening quarter here at McMahon Stadium.
Way of life, a bit of a trend in the Canadian Football League this year. Certainly to see at least one-time backup quarterbacks playing. Many of them find themselves, at least for the rest of this season, like Dane Evans, as the starter. And so you're going to make adjustments in terms of what you do to make sure they do well.
Evans in trouble. Avoids one and then pitches it out. Shovel pass over to Acklin. Dane Evans, who can use those feet and has been coached well by Pops through the years. And there is Jalen Acklin, who has been a kindred spirit with Dane Evans in so many ways.
Yeah, a couple of guys that sort of worked their way up the depth chart through training camp and in the early part of the season. Possessing a little bit of chemistry and understanding, awareness of one another.
Acklin out of Western Illinois. Evans out of Tulsa. Time again. Fires a dart once again to Braylon Addison. Addison, as we watched a couple of weeks ago against the Argos on the Labor Day game, has had 5 touchdowns this season. All of them against the Toronto Argonauts. But he has been a force. And he's been one of the reasons that Dane Evans has been given a lot of confidence.
Yeah, he certainly has. Addison, a former quarterback himself, coming out of high school.
Cats using a lot of hurry up out of the chute here today, not huddling up very much, getting to the line of scrimmage. A little bit different MO than last time. Remember last time Dane Evans did not play. It was Jeremiah Masoli a couple of weeks before Masoli went out with that ACL tear. Cost him the season. Evans, second down and 10. Throwing down will empty the backfield. He wanted to change something there. Shouts it out. They drop 8. Evans now taking off and lobbing it in for Addison once more. Not sure if that was improvisation or not, but Dane Evans makes it work.
Yeah, just doing a nice job using his feet to buy a little extra time to extend this play. You see that pocket closing in on him, but as he steps up, eyes are downfield all the way. It's funny, it seemed like he covered some ground there. I found myself wondering if he was at least close to the line of scrimmage on that one.
Inside the score zone, inside the 20. Shoveling it off once again to Tucker. Tucker is chopped down. Sean Amos coming up from his halfback position and spying that perfectly. Looks like and even a loss, maybe a yard on the play.
Yeah, holding call coming against the Tiger Cats here as well.
Holding. Hamilton, number 86. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Our referee today is Dave Foxcroft with his crew here at McMahon Stadium.
See Addison right in the bottom left corner of your screen, hands outside the frame on Raheem Wilson, and becomes particularly obvious as Tucker takes it outside. So you get that quick stretch of the jersey where it becomes evident that he's being held.
They take them outside the score zone. They call it the red zone or green zone, whatever you prefer. Inside that 20-yard line. 1st and 20. Hamilton team that comes in number 1 in points for 30.5 per game, and number 2 in points against 19.7. Leading by 3 here. Brandon Banks has room, turns it on. Banks trying to find the end zone, spinning, and he'll score. Touchdown. Brandon Banks does it to the Stamps again. That's his 4th touchdown in 2019 in not even a game and a half against the men in red.
And this is one of those plays where you're reminded, particularly after the catch, just how fast Brandon Banks is. He turns it upfield, and every time he runs through one of these gaps, you're kind of thinking, well, he'll never make it through there. He can't make it through there. And yet every time, Speedy B makes it through there. You know, it's not just a catchy nickname.
No, he's quick. Speedy B does it again, had 3 last time, including a missed field goal return. And these are the 2 teams, by the way, that lead the CFL in 2-point convert attempts and makes. They love to go for 2. They'll hand it off to Coombs. Will he get there? Fighting for it, and he got it. So AC, Anthony Coombs, successfully converts Brandon Banks, the 31-year-old, one of the smallest guys in the Canadian Football League and still one of the fastest.
Brandon Banks.
Crossing routes, outrunning people across the field. Where there's a little bit of traffic to pick off any defenders trying to follow, and we'll take a look at how that unfolded in just a moment.
Hamilton opening up a 14-3 lead.
And a 9-play, 88-yard drive.
And back to return is Huff. Only gets up to the 22-yard line. Let's relook at Brandon Banks' latest visit to the end zone.
Yeah, and you're going to see Brandon Banks from this spot right away. He's just going straight across the field. He's not getting any depth at all. And the thing you'll notice, the Calgary Stampeders are all backed off the line. People are respecting Brandon Banks' speed as he comes across the field. Once he makes that catch, there's nobody up tight on him to challenge him when he makes the catch. He's able to get up to full speed with the ball. You saw him pick up a couple of blocks on the way and just use his wheels to sneak into the end zone.
Banks comes into today 138 shy of 1,000 for a 3rd straight season. And Terry Williams, he was able to plow for a first down up near the 35-yard line. Once again, the chains will move.
Let's take a look at the work of the big boys. Getting out in front of them. Get into a tight end formation here with an extra offensive lineman. Shane Bergman doing a nice job. Pulling guard, getting out front. Reggie Begelton. Top receivers in the Canadian Football League. Getting it done without the ball this time.
Oh, Levi Mitchell trying to get some traction. Fires to one of his favorite targets, and Eric Rogers. Be about a yard short of a first down.
And once again, you get a glimpse of the catch radius of Eric Rogers. Big target, long arms. Doesn't necessarily have to be a burner to get open. That frame lets him make a lot of catches in tight coverage.
Williams wants to go hurdling, and then comes up in the face of Simone Lawrence. Some smack talk going on down there. Simone Lawrence, not only one of the best defenders in the Canadian Football League, but he's a guy who can back up his talk. He is always speaking.
Watch Simone with the, like a bit of an old school pro wrestling hold with the ankle lock there.
Remember those days. Williams again. And once again, the ongoing conversation with Simone Lawrence, who, by the way, comes into today 4 tackles shy of becoming the all-time Hamilton Tiger Cat leader. Would overtake Rob Hitchcock, and also 4 tackles away from 500 in his career, so suggests pretty close to that right now.
Rob Hitchcock set to join the Ticats Wall of Fame in a few weeks.
Deservedly so. Cat Show blitz. Here it comes. There goes the ball. Over the top. It's Rogers once more. Lawrence had retreated. Rico Murray there as well on the tackle, but it's a first down for the Stamps.
Think about the depth in this Calgary Stampeder receiving corps. It's another great adjustment on the fly by Eric Rogers. You know, we've seen really all 3 catches that he's made so far, examples of how his length, his frame, help him reach those balls.
False start here. Calgary
procedure
moved.
Calgary number 46.
Procedure call.
5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Calgary team that's very disciplined. Just 95 penalties coming in. That's second best among 9 teams in the Canadian Football League. Hasn't been really a correlation though this year between penalties and winning and losing. Usually there is. Some teams lacking that discipline, been able to still pick up a win. Bow to throw, and unable to hang on the far side was Colton Hunchak, the last player drafted by the Stamps in the draft. 8th round, 73rd overall, but last week 5 targets, 5 catches for 53 yards against the Eskimos. Not this time.
Hunchak played his college ball at York. He and Hamilton fullback Nico Kalinic, of course, were teammates there. But a local product out of Notre Dame High School here in Calgary.
Local guy comes back home.
A terrific high school quarterback.
2nd and 15. And whipping it in, and it's up for grabs. Reggie Begelton was the intended target, but it almost ended up in the paws of the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Surprising that this one wasn't picked when you see how high it pops up. Begelton put in a tough situation as that ball was deflected. It appeared just before it got to him.
Rob Maver's going to try to angle this, and he had it almost blocked. He was hammered. There's no penalty down, no penalty flag. Frankie Williams nowhere to go. What a kick by Maver, but boy, there were 3 cats right on top of him, and they almost blocked it.
The Ticats from getting a penalty. Maver's just trying to keep from getting his leg broken.
Long field now for Dane Evans and Hamilton. Pinned down inside their 15. Swinging it out. Jackson Bennett has his first touch. Bennett coming off a breakout game against the Argos on Labor Day. Here's a guy who's a former DB and almost a linebacker at times. Special teams player specifically for the Cats for most of the season.
Yeah, and I mean, Jackson Bennett, Mr. Versatility during his time at Ottawa University. We joked on Labor Day that his head coach, Jamie Barisi, should have played him more at running back, but he needed Bennett on defense and used him as a kick returner there. Jamie Barisi actually suggested to the Ticats leading up to the draft that running back might be his best position at the pro level.
Play action, and again, great protection. Max protection that time for Dane Evans. Braylon Addison. Yeah, he could do it all, Jackson Bennett. When he was with GG's and also when he was in high school, but with the GG's, not only DB, but also a kick returner. How about this one? Go in the distance, flashing that speed.
Impressive all-around athlete. Go to Sir Wilfrid Laurier High School. Just outside Ottawa and Orleans.
See some more Bennett. Evans, 1st and 10. And straight passes for Dane Evans.
Well, and no surprise to see how busy Brandon Banks and Braylon Addison have been thus far. 2 slots, most frequently line up to the wide side of the field. Those 2 killer bees, there is little question, particularly in the absence of Luke Tasker, that the offense runs through those 2 guys.
Brandon and Braylon at the same size, same quickness. They're lethal weapons. Evans, 11 in a row. Remember, it was just 2 weeks ago he went for 19 straight in the second half. Dane Evans, in a near masterpiece against the Argos, had a couple of picks against him, but also threw for 442 yards, 31 of 37. 11 straight completions now.
And Condell, there is the offensive coordinator. We talk about a coach doing a good job of putting his quarterback in a position to succeed.
Evans once more, and hot potato for Tucker. 1st down once more. Product of Northern Michigan, native of Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, Marcus Tucker, a guy who played a little bit of small college basketball prior to switching back to football.
Dominantly a return man in college. Can use him in that, but the Cats are loaded with returners. Try the jet sweep here. Inside handoff to Banks. Gives a stiff arm. Trey Roberson setting up a 2nd and half that yardage, maybe 2nd and 4 now. 4:10 to go before halftime. It's been all Cats so far.
Well, they seem to have taken over the momentum in a game that started kind of slowly. You know, teams exchanging a few field goals early on. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats offense certainly seems to be the first offensive group to find its groove here.
Evans moves the pocket again. And another completion. Mike Jones, that's his first catch in the last 3 games, and a late flag as well. Jones has been so silent the last couple of games, hasn't even been targeted. There's a lot of nastiness down there on that sideline. You could hear them going at each other.
Yeah, Jalen Ackland came flying back to try and get a block to help out Mike Jones after the catch, and appeared at live speed as Jones, the widest receiver, towards the top of your screen. Watch Ackland
Major
come
foul,
from the right side of your screen.
block, Hamilton number 80. Penalty occurred after yards were gained. It'll be 1st down, Hamilton.
Yeah, you appreciate the effort, but you've got to make a good decision in the situation, recognizing that your teammate's probably going out of bounds anyway.
So move it back to the 53-yard line.
Again, that penalty, as you heard, comes after the 1st down was achieved.
Hamilton out-netting the Stampeders. Pretty good margin so far.
Yeah, significantly. 270 yards to just 100 for the home side thus far.
Evans from the gun once more. They fake the pitch. Dane, far side, and there's his first incompletion after 12 in a row, and Braylon Addison probably thought he could have had that. Should have had that. Now 2nd and 10.
Oh, one of the things that some of the Hamilton receivers have talked about as a difference between Dane Evans and Jeremiah Masoli, sometimes the heat which the ball comes out when
He
you
can zip
talk
it, can't
about Dane Evans. Yeah, this is a guy who had scholarship offers in baseball as well as football coming out of high school in Sanger, Texas.
Tight spiral. Has some heat on that. 2nd and 10. The protection once more. And right at the first down marker is Bennett. And he'll move the chains again. And Dane Evans does not go deep very often. In fact, out of all the qualifiers, he is last among the quarterbacks in terms of targets and throwing downfield over 20 yards. But guess what? It works. Works very well. Spot on 3 minutes. That's the 3-minute warning before halftime. Cats moving the ball, and they're leading 14-3 in Calgary.
Rod Black, wing forward, guys.
All right, Roderick, thank you. Orlando Steinauer. His team marching once more. 1st and 10 from the 39 of Calgary. Play action, little bubble screen set up for Niko Kalinic, and Kalinic, big man. Quite a main going as well back there. Didn't get much, just back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, that might be the best salad in the Canadian Football League today.
It might be.
Big fullback. Missed a few games earlier this season. Ticats missed this guy. Doesn't necessarily play a ton of snaps offensively, but a good special teams player and a guy who allows them, with his size and his skill set, get into some different looks and different packages. You've seen the soft hands with a couple of catches already in this ballgame.
Named affectionately the big serve on the sidelines on 2nd and 10 again. Evans stretching it out, picked off. Trey Roberson has number 7 on the season.
Number 7 and one of his finest of the year.
Goes up high and brings it down. First turnover of the afternoon. Hobbs doesn't like that one. Trey Roberson, who started the season with 3 picks in his first game. He had 5 after 3 weeks. Set to obliterate all interception records, it seemed. Stuck on 5 for a while. Now again 7, one behind Winston Rose and Reggie Begelton. It comes up nodding. Begelton, big play. As Bo Levi Mitchell and the Stamps escape the shadows.
Reggie Begelton came into this 2019 season, his 3rd as a CFLer, having never made more than 6 starts in a season. He's started every game for the Stamps this year. Never reached 500 yards in a season, but he had basically more than doubled his career total with what he's done this year alone.
Bo, incomplete for Huff. Begelton's a fascinating story. He is the ultimate outlier, guy off the radar. He was off the radar practically his entire life as a football player. Walk-on in college at Lamar University. Had to beg basically for a scholarship after 2 years. Got the scholarship. It was a half scholarship. Then he started to do great things, and by the time he was done at Lamar University, he was the all-time leading receiver and a superstar there.
And still had to scratch and claw for every opportunity.
Hear a lot from him today. Pump and go, and it's Huff. Crossing pattern, straight arm here, dragged down by Leonard. A yard short of a first down. Could be a decision here for Dave Dickinson and the Stampeders. It's a long yard.
Huff is going to come from the top of your screen and work underneath. Again, those cross-field crossing routes allow him to use his speed. Good spot means they're going to go for it here on 3rd and short.
3rd and short, and Terry Williams. And that Kadeem Carey carries high on the trampoline. And gets that first down.
Yeah, Carey saw a gap and just attacked it. Going airborne.
Where he stays into block. And again, a juggler for Urgi Mayala, the Montreal native. 8th overall pick in this year's draft out of UConn.
Yeah, watch the pickup here by Carey, sliding across the formation to pick up Rico Murray. Good concentration there from Mayala.
Communications major, the Huskies.
Now part of a strong receiving class 2019 draft.
Setting up the bubble for Beggleton. Beggleton goes leaping and soars for another first down. Former walk-on steps up big time.
Nice play call there. You saw the blocks. Simone Lawrence getting double teamed. Beggleton with a bit of a crash landing there. Another Stampeder first down.
Impressive drive for the Stamps. Started in the shadows of their goalposts. Good protection, pump and go. And looking for Huff. And stride for stride in coverage with Jamal Roll, and it was overthrown.
Yeah, this is terrific coverage by Jamal Roll. He just stayed right in the hip pocket on Josh Huff, despite the double move there. Pump fake from quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell. Roll again playing that boundary corner spot as Delvin Breaux remains on the 6-game injured list. Roll has done a terrific job. He played a lot on the field side last season. Was kind of the odd man out of the secondary as the 2019 season opened, but he's proven to be ready to go.
Mitchell, near side, lunging for it. On second down, it was Rogers, and the drive will stall here. And Paredes is going to come out with a lengthy field goal. His team down 14-3 in the final minute of the first half.
Talked in this game about the number of twisting, stretching, reaching catches that Eric Rogers makes, but just unable to come up with that one.
$49-yarder for Paredes. Kick is up, and that will split the uprights. Always a little nervous if you're kicking with Brandon Banks lurking in the end zone. Do not want to miss as Paredes puts it up and through. Career 87%er.
Strike. Jump, Burger.
So Paredes has done all the scoring for the Stampeders. They're going to need more, though, in the second half. Find a way to get to the end zone here. Again, the Stampeders #1 in the CFL in the turnover ratio, and #1 points off turnovers, so they add 3 to that. That's 90 on the season. 90 points off of turnovers. Best in the league. And you know, when you think about it, it was probably more like, it felt like 10 points. That took maybe a touchdown off the board.
Yeah, potentially deep ball thrown or intended for Brandon Banks.
Final 36. It'll be interesting to see how the Cats handle this.
Interesting to see the Ticats kickoff return team. Is Jordan Moore, linebacker, former track star.
Big track star.
Is one of their deep returners.
He's going to do the blocking now for Williams, and Frankie cutting back and a decent starting point at the 42, so really only a couple of completions away from putting it in range for Liram Hajrullahu to even up on that field goal, or maybe even more for Dane Evans. I'd like to have that toss back. One taken away by Trey Roberson. Ron Smith and the boys standing by in the studio. Game 1 again of our doubleheader. Saskatchewan and Montreal coming up right after this.
Another terrific matchup.
Oh, it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Montreal Alouettes. Seems like every week it's about the Alouettes kind of proving they're for real. They've made a lot of believers across the league so far.
Eventually somebody's going to say they're for real.
Yeah.
At some point. Here comes the blitz. Evans wants to throw, and Banks has it on the near sideline and out of bounds, stopping the clock at 23. So another 20 yards for really a decent shot for Hairolahu. What a strong leg. Longest career field goal for Lirim Hairolahu, 56-yarder. Quads to the right. They hand it off to Coombs on second down. Move the stick. So you've got a couple shots here for you. 18 to go.
Yeah, certainly an opportunity to put this within Lirim Hairolahu's range. A very good positive plays in the first two attempts.
This is now in range thanks to Brandon Banks. Clock down to 8. Do you risk another play? Or do you bring Hairolahu out now?
Yeah, if it's me, I'm lining it up.
Yeah, here he comes. So well within his range. Much of a wind here today at McMahon Stadium. Hairolahu has already been good on 2 of 2. This is going to be from the 45.
And Ticats, I think, are short a man. They're calling for one more from the sideline.
It's never a good thing at the last minute. So they'll line up. 45-yarder. Last play, first half. Evans, the hold, the kick is up, and Hairolahu buries it. What a complete first half for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Lirim Hairolahu, 3 field goals. They get a touchdown from Brandon Banks, who has been a horse killer this season. His 4th against the Stampeders, and Orlando Steinauer fist pump likes it. They walk into the locker room with a 17-6 lead at the half. It is Ram at the half. Let's send it to Rod Smith and the boys in the studio in Week 14 of the Canadian Football League. By the man who is standing beside Jermaine Franklin.
Trey Roberson, you got your 7th interception of the season at a key time late in that first half. In the grand scheme of things, how important was it to keep those points off the board against Hamilton?
Yeah, they've been playing pretty good. They've been driving on us, but that was a clutch play to get them off the field and not even give them a field goal. But we got to come back in the second half, play really good, solid defense, and tackle.
What will be the key for your defense to get off the field and give your offense as many opportunities as possible?
Tackle and cover, and I mean, be ready for a dogfight. Those guys are shifty and they're making plays.
Thanks for your time.
Cats and horses in a dogfight here at McMahon, and without one of their key men, key horses, Corey Greenwood, out of the ball game on the sideline in civvies.
Yeah, big concern to see a guy who has to be considered among the league's most outstanding Canadians this season. Stampeder middle linebacker Corey Greenwood nicked up in the first half. His likely replacement, Riley Jones, go to UBC. Standing beside him there on the sidelines.
Just one touchdown in the game supplied by Hamilton. Brandon Banks, kick that will end up in the end zone, and an 11-point lead is now 12. The Rouge on the kick. Josh Huff taking a knee. Makes it 18-6. Bo Levi Mitchell told us yesterday, you know, he's feeling good. A little shaky early on in this ball game. Had trouble sustaining drives.
Yeah, slow out of the gate, but certainly the Stampeders seem to find their rhythm through the second quarter of that football game. We'll see if Bo Levi Mitchell can keep that going. I think when you're a CFL defensive coordinator, one of the concerns that you have to have as we head down the stretch here
is Bo Levi Mitchell?
Well, that he's Bo Levi Mitchell, and he's realistically going to be fresher coming down the stretch than he has ever been in the second half of a season. He's avoided half a season's worth of hits, saved half a season's worth of throws on that arm, half a season's worth of wear and tear on the legs.
Still one of the very best who have ever played in this game. And Eric Rogers right out of the locker room. First pass, first catch. Big play, Stamps.
Yeah, off a little bit of play action. Quick hold of the defense. And again, it's Rogers. Gets that ball out and away from the body. Size advantage he holds over Richard Leonard in that matchup.
Kadeem Carey. Justin Tuggle's arms. Simone Lawrence also there. So second down, likely a throwing down for Bo Levi Mitchell in his 91st career start. An extraordinary winning percentage. 81%. 72-16-2. Bo knows winning. Has since he came up north of the border.
Yeah, and we know that lots of quarterbacks who have played for the Dave Dickinson, John Huffnagel era here in Calgary, and even before.
Mitchell, and up high, great catch. Rogers again. Beautiful day in his neighborhood again today, so far. 22-yarder.
Eric Rogers again going to work. They try to slow him down, get in contact, jam him up off the line. But it has little impact on Mr. Rogers.
Spiraling, twisting in the air. And it makes a routine after a while. Rogers, who broke into the league wearing number 80, and went to number 15. Always wanted to wear number 4, which was worn by Micah Johnson. That was his number growing up. Now Carey has some room. Kadeem Carey is dragged down. Otherwise, that was touchdown. Jamal Roll brings him down inside the 15-yard line. Great play executed by the Stampeders.
Well, that's it. Terrific execution here. Quick play action. They got a piece of Simone Lawrence coming up the middle on the blitz. They bought just a little bit more time for things to unfold there. A couple nice blocks downfield. Kadeem Carey has the Stamps well positioned to make this game a little closer.
Their first trip inside the red zone. Bo moves the pocket, throws, touchdown! Why not, Eric Rogers? Penalty flag in the backfield, though. This might be coming back.
Well, this is coming back.
Calgary, number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
We saw that one Hamilton Tiger Cat rolling almost towards Bo Levi Mitchell. There was a hold on the play.
Yeah, keep an eye on the center here. Justin Lawrence, tough matchup. So he gets a steady dose of Ted Laurent and Dylan Wynn in the middle.
Ted Laurent back in the lineup. Missed the last game with a knee issue. Love the big man in the middle. So first and 20 now. Stamps could get to the 4-yard line and go first and goal. Low to the near side with running room right here is Carey. Kadeem gets down near the 10, so second down, 6 to go from the 10. Nice job by Carey. He could have a picnic out where he was.
A good start in terms of getting that yardage back. Stamps defense sitting off a little bit in the flat. They take advantage. Quick hitter, high percentage throw to Carey.
For Chicago Bear, drafted 4th round, 117 overall in 2014. 7 games played with them. Sideline this time. Terry Williams comes in. Bo looking, end zone, and knocked down in traffic. Frankie Williams was there looking for Beggleton, who's slow to get up. This is a Calgary team that has been such a plug-and-play team with so many injuries. They certainly led the CFL in a department you don't want to lead in, and that's injuries to receivers the last couple of years. Just not receivers, star receivers.
And it's amazing the depth that they have, but watch the shot he takes shoulder to the head there from Frankie Williams as he's laying out for that football.
So a potential touchdown that was snuffed out by penalty. Beggleton is down. Paredes is out for another field goal attempt. Reggie's a little...
Reggie Beggleton took right there. The guy they can ill afford to use. You think about the depth that they have had to have at receiver to sustain their production through the injuries that they've experienced here. It's remarkable.
Rene Paredes, who's done all the scoring for the Stampeders, a drive that doesn't turn out the way they like, but they still get the 3 points. 18-9, cut the lead in half. This number 9, Dane Evans. Pretty decent performance in the first half. Had a streak of 12 straight completions at one point.
Yeah, and like Mitchell, it took him a little bit to get going, but he certainly got rolling sooner. As you mentioned, that consecutive completions streak. Addison and Banks, as usual, his 2 favorite targets through the first half of this football game, with the blemish haunting him a little bit with the Ticats pressing for another score. He is victimized by Trey Roberson, an interception that led to Calgary field goal.
In his 6th start, there's Kalinic again, romping, thundering for a first down. Evans, who's thrown 8 touchdown passes on the season, now 9 interceptions. 66% on the season.
Yeah, there's a learning curve, obviously, for Dane Evans getting his first extended action as a Canadian Football League quarterback, but direction.
Wayne already over 250 yards. And now Tucker right side. Amos. And Raheem Wilson on the corner. Get to him. 2nd and manageable. Thinking about the Hamilton play calling and the MO really through the last few years. You think even back to Kent Austin and June Jones. I guess the dividing rod might be Tommy Condell. There never really are 2 plays of the same. They're not redundant in any stretch. There's a lot of mixing and matching in play calling. They get everybody involved. Evans hawks that. Ackland, another 2nd down reception. That's his 17th on the season. One of the Cat leaders.
Yeah, I just think that there are so many tremendous coaches in the Canadian Football League in this particular era that you not only have to be creative, but you have to try to kind of stay ahead of the curve all the time, both offensively and defensively.
Split out Addison and Ackland and give it to Coombs. Oft injured Anthony Coombs. Former 3rd overall pick by the Argos. So much expected of him, the former Manitoba Bison. Nate Hawley in on that tackle. Coombs came in with such great talk and promise. Did some good things, but just couldn't get himself on the field. A number of injuries plagued him. He ends up in Hamilton. So 2nd down, crowd rises its volume. 2nd and 5. Show blitz. Evans on the roll, throws, and snaring it is Coombs for a first down. That's what Anthony Coombs can do, not only as a tailback, but also that hybrid position where they really employed him when he first broke into the league. Catching and running.
Yeah, Coombs, a guy with a versatile skill set, had primarily a running back in college. As you see Dane Evans thread the needle through the hands of the on-rushing safety, Royce Mechie.
Looks like he's just short, 3rd and inches. Evans pushing forward, stacked up, but first down. Hamilton has not failed on a 3rd down and short sneak this season.
Well, looking at Anthony Coombs, I mean, this is a guy who was a terrific running back under Brian Dobie at the University of Manitoba. And yeah, a lot of people saw him as a receiver at the next level. Had terrific receiving skills. When you look at his numbers from college, had a ton of 100-yard rushing games, but also a number of 100-yard receiving games, working out of the backfield.
And Brandon Banks looked like he wanted to throw it, but he fumbled it instead. And Brandon Smith, the veteran, has there's the recovery. On a pitch to Banks, looked like he wanted to throw for a moment. And then he coughed it up. Second turnover by the Cats.
Find up, follows kind of an option path, maintains an option relationship with Addison. So this time, there's Banks, there's Addison, similar relationship, but we're going the other way. But this time, Addison looking right away for the pitch. They set it up in the first half, not pitching it to him. This time, though, the Stampeders have seen it. They probably recognize the possibility and were well prepared.
Firing a bullet was Bo Levi Mitchell to Josh Huff. Former Oregon Duck hauling it in. And Brandon Banks ran out of space. Looked like he was going to throw, and they can throw here.
Yeah, looking downfield.
Then great strip by Raheem Wilson.
And I can't tell you offhand whether Brandon Banks is left-handed or not, but that's a play that you don't often see going to the left, right? With most guys being right-handed. So a lot of times you can catch people off guard running it the other way.
Second giveaway by the Cats. There's Bo Levi Mitchell going for it all here. And trying to run underneath it. It was Michael Klukas, the guy who knows this stadium quite well.
Yeah, another of those former Calgary Dinos.
Who play later today, by the way, against UBC.
Yeah.
Out in Vancouver.
Lined up outside. He's a burner, Michael Klukas. Undrafted in 2017, but he had actually run the fastest 40-yard dash at the Western Regional Combine. Joined the Stamps last season.
What a thrill, hometown boy. Play for the Dinos here.
St. Mary's High School prior to that.
Mitchell, a little bit of a wobbler, but it works, and Eric Rogers goes up again, bringing it down. Big play. Down near the Hamilton 35-yard line. They're going to spot it around the 34.
Another one of those fully extended grabs from Eric Rogers. He does such a terrific job using his size. Going up above Tunde Adeleke to get that one.
Rogers, who thought he had his 8th touchdown on that previous drive. Don't be surprised that Mitchell goes back to him. Terry Williams sprung. It's 8. They've been using Williams, but also Kadeem Carey at different times.
Yeah, Carey getting the bulk of the snaps from the running back spot, but rolling Terry Williams through there to keep him fresh. This is something Calgary Stampeders have done it for years. You think back, it's Reggie Begelton back in the lineup. The days of Joffrey Reynolds and John Cornish in that backfield together.
Oh, 6 of 8 in the second half so far. 7 of 9. And a first down. Rogers once more. I'm sure the Stamps don't want to come away as much as they love their kicker, Randy Paredes. Want to come away with a touchdown. Something they haven't been able to do, penetrate that goal line yet. Look for this guy, Eric Rogers. He and Begelton both 7 touchdowns each.
It's just amazing when you start listing off the receivers they've lost, and you think Tavares Daniels leaves in free agency.
Lamar Jordan, Mark and Michelle.
Injured. Mark and Michelle goes to the NFL, and this group just keeps on ticking.
Both still ticking. Knocked down. Swatted down right in the grill. And his old teammate back at McMahon for the first time. Jared Davis, who roamed these parts. Came away last year with a Grey Cup ring with a horse on his helmet.
I received that ring earlier this season when the Stampeders visited Hamilton. They brought him a little gift.
It was kind of humorous the way he got it, too. Cherishes it, though. Loved his time in Calgary. New chapter, though, for Jagarrett Davis. Big play here. 2nd and 10. Bo. Pressure on and incomplete for Huff. Still a sackless game, but that was as close as any quarterback was to being knocked down. Julian Hauser. Doogie in tight.
Yeah, Julian Hauser coming from the top of your screen, right defensive end position. Always part of this D-line rotation. Good special teamer, but getting a little more time at that DN spot since Adrian Tracy went down with a triceps injury. End his season.
Rennie Paredes again. Make it 4 on the day. Keeps the Stampeders in a one-possession ball game. The CFL on TSN. Play at Commonwealth next week in Edmonton. Back-to-back Alberta. Hasn't been kind to them the last couple of years. But it is by far not a vacation. This is a pooch kick, and it bounces backwards. 30-yard line for Dane Evans. 6-point lead for Hamilton. 3:03 to go in the third.
With $1 Million Touchdown to Win, we want to give you a reason to celebrate. And now we're making it even more exciting to shop your favorite products, like Purex Triple 20 Roll Bathroom Tissue. Get in the game. Shop Save On Foods today.
Choose city streets. Choose to conquer the unexpected. Choose adventure at every turn. Choose any path with the Nissan Qashqai, where fun meets function. And now, during the Clear Out sales event, finance a Qashqai at 0.9% for 60 months, or get up to $3,000 standard rate finance cash on other models.
Run with us in the unstoppable John Deere Gator XUV 835. Because when others take rain checks, we take the wheel. Run with us. Search John Deere Gator for more.
At linebacker, number 29, Jamar Wool. At cornerback, number 31, Trey Roberson.
That's awesome. Part of family day today. And also doing some PA work was Caden Chow. Doing some work today. Wants that microphone. It's family day and all the kids are out. And where would you rather be on a beautiful Saturday afternoon? The days get shorter. Season gets shorter. Games get more intense, though, don't they?
They certainly do. Things heating up. It's been a playoff race from week 1, particularly in the West Division.
Dane Evans pulls the trigger once more for Ackland. Yeah, it is tight in the West, to say the least. Calgary Stampeders trying to keep pace. Winnipeg with a bye week this week. They're at 9 wins, 9-3. Hamilton, best record at 9-2 in the East. Montreal playing Saskatchewan after this, and the Alouettes cheering for the Stampeders today. And the Rough Riders cheering for the Tiger Cats. Also at 7-4. Evans wants to scamper out. Fumble football. Looks like Calgary has it. Another Tie-Cat turnover.
Well, the Stamps haven't made them pay in a big way yet, but turnovers, points off turnovers, certainly allowing the Calgary Stampeders to get back in this one as they now find themselves within a score.
Cordero Law, the strip. Mike Rose, the pounce.
Cordero Law, the veteran leader on this defensive line. Comes around the horn, gets a hand on that football.
Stampeders, Dwayne, have put up points after turnovers. 3 Hamilton giveaways, but only 6 points. They left a lot of points on the field and on the scoreboard. So Dane Evans looking at him in the tablet. Defense back to work for Hamilton. Bo Levi Mitchell back to work, but incomplete. Looking for Huff once more.
Josh Huff coming underneath. Kind of looking to sidestep Rico Murray before he had secured that football. Let that one get away. Meanwhile, Cordero Law in that defense. continue to celebrate their efforts.
See if they go to Beggleton or Rogers here on second down. Time drops it in. Big hit by Simone Lawrence on Kadeem McCary. Kaboom. And Simone Lawrence moves closer to 500 career tackles to the all-time Hamilton lead.
You're going to see Kadeem McCary free release. He's trying to get that defender, Justin Tuggle, running hard to the flat as a linebacker. You're playing inside leverage. So what they're trying to accomplish with that route is to sell the flat because the middle linebacker has to run so hard to try and make up ground and then cut it back underneath. Tuggle did a nice job recovering to get a piece of him, and Simone Lawrence came in to clean it up.
Rennie Paredes, Mr. Dependable from the 35. Dave Dickinson, and misses it. And trying to come out of the end zone is Tunde Adeleke, and he's flipped up. Adeleke, of his old teammate Paredes, took a little anger out on that miss, something you don't see very often. And he dusted his old teammate Tunde Adeleke. For a moment, you had to wonder if Adeleke was making the right choice.
Yeah, things opened up quickly, but
Paredes thought he made it. Came back and then,
not really that long a field goal attempt, which typically makes it tougher to return. Those are usually the ones where cover team can get down there in such a hurry. They end up giving up the points, but Adeleke saw an opening.
I was going to say Dave Dickinson loves his kicker, loves his kickers, but he's seen a lot of his kicker today. Way too much, perhaps. More points left off the board. Jackson Bennett gone with his dual combination of Bennett and Anthony Coombs today.
Running back by committee. Again, a steady dose of Braylon Addison and Brandon Banks carrying the ball as well.
Usually the team that loses the turnover battle, it's common saw, end up losing the game. Now the Pats still leading despite giving up the ball 3 times. Addison, looks like a first down on the final play of the 3rd quarter. We head to the 4th. The Cats 6-1 when they lead after 3 quarters. Can they hang on for their first win since 2004 in Calgary? We'll find out.
Though in the 4th quarter of this ball.
Yeah, I'm sure they're talking about protecting the rock. That's paramount right now for the Cats, trying to protect this lead. Get their first win in eons. Marcus Tucker romps there, close to a first down.
Add Marcus Tucker to that multi-pronged rushing attack. Now, those plays that have gone to him have actually been shovel passes as he's come underneath.
Handed off on 2nd and 1. They head off to that running game. Always love watching the way different teams devise strategies defensively, signals. See the Calgary Stampeders, they put everybody to use with the signage.
Yeah, we've seen this wave over the last couple of years. Non-verbal communication.
Love to have that with my kids sometimes. How that works. 1st and 10, Hamilton from the gun. Dane Evans, back pedals. Now near sideline, coming back, and looks like it's picked. It is picked. And Trey Roberson might have his second. They're trying to sell this. I'm not sure if they're going to sell it. It's incomplete. They may have got the signal from up high too. But this one looked like it skipped to the waiting hands of Trey Roberson. Indeed, it did.
One hopper. You saw Roberson box out the receiver, Jalen Ackland.
He didn't do a very good job selling it. His teammates did, though.
Yeah, his teammates were trying harder than he was. I think Trey kind of knew.
Video replay and the eye in the sky, and the eye in the sky never lies. Very hard to get a one-hopper. 2nd and 10. Evans, crosser again for Banks. First down, and Brandon Banks. You talked about the inability of the Calgary Stampeders to finish drives. Another game changer, however, every time these teams met and meet. Number 16.
Yeah, Brandon Banks. And we saw this formation in this exact play. Hamilton's touchdown in the first half of the ball game. They just ran it coming from the other side. Lines up in tight, doesn't gain depth. Basically just disappears behind that defensive line on the crossing route.
Early fourth quarter. 9-2 Cats, 7-4 Stamps. 1st and 10, they decide put it on the ground, pound the ground once more. It's Braylon Addison. They essentially have 4 options for running the football. Maybe a couple of them. They could probably use Mike Jones as well, who can also run the ball maybe on a sweep at times. So they can do that. Keep in mind, though, they've had 3 different starting running backs this season in Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean, they've been forced to be creative. It's been out of necessity. They just look to find different ways to make sure that they're able to run that football.
Jackson Bennett being the 4th. Double tight protection. Evans is running out of time and room and space. Had to throw it away, and Roberson was blanketing Ackland on the far side. 2nd down.
Evans basically trying to buy as much time as he could, hoping for someone to come open. Keep an eye on Jalen Ackland up here. Locks on him as you see Evans start to scramble. Ackland heads down that sideline. He was looking for a call. But I don't think that was intentional nor a catchable football.
So again, Lirim Hairolahu, who's basically matched Paredes today. Calgary's going to have to find some way, devise a way to do something more than kick field goals, though.
Now, this is a big one for Hairolahu, as it would make it a 2-score football game.
It's a long way away from the 48, and this is pushed wide. And Terry Williams thinking about it. And there he goes, sideline, and Williams. Good starting point. Avoids giving up the Rouge. Couple of missed field goals now here in the 2nd half in Calgary. 6-point Cat lead. Travel to Toronto. Hamilton stays in Alberta to take on Edmonton next week. 4 straight wins. One of those streaks will end today. Mitchell, play action time. And had to throw it away. Hearing the footsteps coming too. And they were coming.
Well, it was like Bo Levi Mitchell had eyes in the back of his head. He had his back turned to the right side of that defensive line. Right about here, he knows. Connor McGuff is coming, better get rid of that football. Can't see him, but he just knows things are breaking down.
Real playoff style intensity. These teams, of course, the Grey Cup a few years ago, 2014. Mitchell takes a shot, and how did Reggie Begelton come up with that? Talk about throwing it through a window. Bo Levi Mitchell gets jolted, and Begelton comes up with a clutch grab.
Watch Simone Lawrence time up this blitz. Mitchell knows he's got to stand in there as long as he possibly can. He stands in there and takes the punishment to make the throw. And the receiver, Reggie Begelton, makes it worth his while, fighting off 2 defenders to make the grab.
Stamps have not had a lot of big plays. Quite a few catches, but only 1 big play of 22 yards. There's Carey. Battering ram. Head on with Dylan Wynn. It hasn't been a big play game by any stretch. Braylon Addison had a 36-yard reception. Brandon Banks, the 30-yard touchdown on the catch.
Delivered by Dylan Wynn there.
Still no sacks in the ball game. 4-man rush. Quick release. And a first down and some. And it's Colton Hunchak delivering that on a 14-yard strike.
Yeah, quick hitter. Hunchak, the middle receiver, out to that side of the into the boundary. They go trips into the boundary, hooks it up with his defender sitting off. Picks up that first down. 73rd overall pick in this year's draft.
1st and 10. Stamps from their 52. Down 6. Loads of time left here in the 4th. So looks and wide opens Begelton again. Begelton, who said he got a lot of his zen, if you want to call it that, or karma, when he was a kid growing up. Before football, he was into martial arts and Taekwondo. Started watching football with his dad at the time. That's when he got into it late in life, but crafting a pretty remarkable story. Reggie Begelton could be the Triple Crown winner in the CFL this season. Yards, receptions, and touchdowns by a receiver. 2nd and 2. Harry pounds it down inside the 45. First down, Calgary.
A nice lead play run by the Stampeders there to pick up the first down. Begelton among those serving as lead blockers on the play, as well as fullback Charlie Power.
Send you to Mosaic after this for the Owls and the Riders. Another big East-West game coming up. Last time they met, they didn't finish the game. They will today. Bo rolling, looking, against the grain. Begelton the catch, 20, 15. Reggie Begelton does it again. Another Begelton beauty.
Well, nice job by Begelton, but I love the play by Bo Mitchell here. As he's rolling to his right, looks to everybody like he's just gearing up to heave this deep. But in his peripheral vision, he sees defenders running towards the sideline, so he knows there's a window opening up behind them. And Reggie Begelton is coming, just drops it in there easily. The man who has been his go-to guy this season. And they've got this Stampeders in scoring position.
Injured Cat is former Stamp Tunde Adeleke, the free safety. Stamps in the red.
Momentum in this game, trailing only by 6. Back to Rod and Dwayne.
Yeah, the big betting line today was Calgary by 7.5. Mike Daly's in for Adeleke. We'll see if the Stamps go after him. Bo Levi Mitchell goes there. Up top, touchdown, Eric Rogers.
Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Beautiful day. Eric Rogers, 8th. And they do strike at the safety. And now it's all tied with the convert upcoming.
You have a situation.
That horse has been a little quiet today. Quick 6 in there.
Family day.
Family day, that's right. That's the mini horses. Trotting 3 and Galloping Rouge. Names, along with quick 6. That was a quick 6. From Bo Levi Mitchell to Rogers. Paredes gives the Stampeders the lead. 6.5 to go.
Shout out my boy Lamar Durant. Having a good year back for his hometown. Keep balling, bro.
Shout out to former teammate Lamar Durant. Last year's MVP in the Grey Cup game. Canadian most valuable player.
You're going to see Eric Rogers attack the middle and kind of uses the goalpost as a little bit of a pick here. Daly's got to kind of decide, do I come underneath it to go to him or wait for him to come around the goalpost? He waits for him to come around, and honestly, that split second as Daly was trying to figure out around the goalpost, where's he going, is what allowed Rogers to get just enough separation to make the play.
Now, one thing we can be guaranteed, beyond Bo Levi Mitchell, who's had some domination over the Cats, he's been their kryptonite. Trying to go to 12-0 lifetime against Hamilton. We also can always expect close games. The last 5 between these teams have been within 6 points. And now it's a 1-point ball game. And Frankie Williams is wrestled near the 15. Razor Sopik from
the University of Western Ontario.
Former Stampeder in the booth and former Cat, former Army, Dwayne Ford, along with being at the University of Western Ontario. Hence the purple that you're wearing today. So here we go. Stamps first, leading the ball game. Dane Evans trying to get it back. Settling down on a dig on that far side was Brandon Banks. Kind of expected the ball to go to his right, then was able to lunge back, move the sticks. Banks having a big game as always against the Stamps.
You look at how decisions, small things play out in the course of a game. This obviously being a close game. You think about the Tiger Cats with that 6-point lead and the decision by Terry Williams on the missed field goal to run it out. And you kind of go, oh, that could be dangerous given the field position with a fair bit of time to go. But
Evans stepping up and hurling it up high. Dean Wilson was there, ricocheting to the sky. We saw some of that heat. Watch this fastball coming at Brandon Banks.
Mike Rose closing in. Sails that one a little bit high. And, you know, just as an example, Brandon Banks, a smaller receiver. You think about some of the catches Eric Rogers has made today. I mean, this is where you sometimes see that trend, right? And Brandon Banks just had Eric Rogers' arms.
That was vertical. Power forward point guard.
Yeah.
Second down and a first down, Braylon Addison. Royce Mechie, Brampton, Ontario native. Played at Guelph. The tackle, first impact, lost his lid. Good play call. 17-yard pickup. Little hitch to Banks. Roberson there, getting him. Boy, it's been a tale of 2 halves again, just like the last time these teams played. We're even, but in the fourth quarter, the Cats were able to take it away in week 4. The second half has really been dominated by the Calgary Stampeders.
It certainly has, outgaining the Ticats 227 net yards to 90.
For the Stamps, Dwayne, their first half,
Calgary.
They had 1 first down in their first 3 possessions and no points. In the second half, their first 4 possessions, they had 11 first downs and 13 points. So adjustments made at halftime. Big time.
Yeah, and I think an element of, again, just finding their groove. Bo Levi Mitchell in his 3rd game coming back from injury. Only the 2nd different opponent he's faced with the short Labor Day week turnaround, going back to back against Edmonton.
Hamilton's only a couple passes away from regaining the lead. They can put it in the range of Liram Hairolahu. 4:18 to go in the 4th. Evans looked to his right for a hitch, takes it himself in with the slide. Hook slides into Calgary's territory near the 50. It's another first down from Dane Evans.
And a nice play call to keep that D-line honest. Quarterback draw. Evans sets it up nicely. O-line blocks it up well, creating a gap for their quarterback. Pick up that first down yardage without taking a hit.
Evans 4-1 as a starter. Pats have won 4 straight, streak in jeopardy. Read option. They give it to Jackson Bennett. This is going to set up a throwing down now for Evans and company. Clock ticking down. See one of these teams take a timeout before that 3-minute warning.
You would think the Hamilton Tiger Cats would be very aware of that.
Big play call here. Both sides. The biggest plays in the ball game. 2nd and 7. Evans standing in, and down he goes. First sack. The Old Town Road goes Derek Wigan. 2nd sack of the season. Out of field goal range. The Cats are going to have to kick, but not a field goal. They'll punt when we come back. It's the 3-minute warning in a 1-point ball game here in Calgary.
Hey, the mountains are calling. Namaste. Namaste to you. Coors Light, the mountains are calling.
Introducing the plant-based Light Life Burger at Harvey's. Made the way all great burgers should be. Canadian-made, flame-grilled, and topped the way you want it for an incredible taste. Surprise yourself with the plant-based Light Life Burger at Harvey's. It's a beautiful thing.
It's the final weekend of the Brick's famous tent sale. Everything must go. We've made further reductions on all remaining clearance items with many items below cost. Plus, more incredible deals throughout the store. The Brick's famous tent sale. Saving you more.
Who got the paint out? Brother did?
Parents don't always get a straight answer, but when it comes to what you feed your kids, Maple Leaf Natural Selections puts the ingredients right on the front of the pack. And that's something we're proud of. No artificial preservatives, only simple ingredients.
Jeep Wrangler is here. Jeep Compass is too. Jeep Cherokee and Grand Cherokee, they're all here at the Jeep All Out Clear Out event. Get into a Jeep Wrangler, Motor Trend's 2019 SUV of the Year. Or Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most luxurious vehicle in its class. It's no ordinary SUV. Jeep All Out Clear Out, on now. Get up to 15% off MSRP for up to $9,650 in total discounts.
Well, the Ticats had the front side as the left side of this route where they've got this combination. But if you watch on the backside, you've got Marcus Tucker with a little curl underneath. Unfortunately, Dane Evans is under siege before he has a chance to get to the backside on his read, where he could have checked down to Tucker and picked up that first down, but the rush just got to him too quickly.
Run that horse to Wigan. Haralahu trying to angle. This one's going out of bounds. And this is a 15-yard penalty. Ball flies up between the 20s. Bad kick by Haralahu. Stamps by 1.
As big football fans, we want to bring the excitement of the game to Save On Foods. We've had a few ideas, but we decided to make shopping even more exciting with Save On Foods' $1 million touchdown to win, with great prizes for every touchdown. And if 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns in one game, you could win $1 million. Just scan your More Rewards card to enter. This is our game now. Shop Save On Foods today. Thanks, guys.
You've got the moves, our grill's got the grooves. Let's get together over some slow-roasted barbecued ribs, fresh-cut fries, slaw, and jalapeno cheddar cornbread, all for under $20. Get them before they're gone. See you at OJ's.
Run with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Because changing your attachments, whether it's for this job, or even this job, should be as easy as
What about this?
changing your plans. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Yeah.
Run with us. Own a 1 Series tractor for a great low monthly payment. Learn more at your John Deere dealer.
Who's there? Chip who?
Chipotle steak and guac grilled wrap.
No joke. Subway now delivers. Try our new grilled wraps today.
Coming up, we will head to Regina, Mosaic Stadium, Cody Fajardo, and the 7-4 Saskatchewan Roughriders up against the 6-4 Alouettes. But we got a one-point game going on in Calgary with 3 minutes to go. Back to Rod and Dwayne.
Anybody's ball game here now. Calgary. 2:53 to go. And rack up some first downs. Bleed this clock. Use it to their advantage, and Bo Levi Mitchell's really good at that. Slipping up out of the backfield was Huff, but wisely got up and actually gained a couple of yards there.
And by the way, in terms of the field position here, a holding penalty on the punt that went out of bounds moments ago.
Winton McManus.
Against the Calgary Stampeders. And to let the Ticats off the hook for that punt. Nice second effort there by Huff to get up and get a little closer to that first down marker. Second and short.
Second and short. Stamps get a first down here. Can again use that clock, and now Carey stopped for a loss on a huge play by Richard Leonard. And this is going to force Calgary to bring out Rob Maver and punt it back. And Hamilton can basically run the 2-minute drill, try to get it into scoring position, and try to ride out of here with a rare win in Calgary.
Yeah, this is a fantastic play by Richard Leonard to get upfield from his secondary position and contain this, because at the line of scrimmage, the Ticats were beaten. They got outflanked at the line because they got sucked in by the play action. And then that reverse pivot out by Mitchell for the option type toss.
Brandon Banks hasn't been used a lot in punt returns. Usually Frankie Williams back there, but he's back and he can turn games. He did the last time these teams met. Banks near his 40. Brandon Banks to the 45 and smothered at the 50. Under 2 to go. Stamps by 1.
I got that old country soul, that boondock swag in my stroll, rock it wherever.
Freshman year, the debut full-length album from the Reclaws featuring the brand new single, Old Country Soul. Listen now on Apple Music.
Well, Dave Dickinson talked about it yesterday, how close these two teams were. Didn't really describe this game as a statement game, but you could say it's a statement for both sides here. But you knew it was going to be a close one, and that's what we're heading to. Thriller finish. Banks, far side. Still on his feet and down after a game of about 6, and they could now maybe run the ball to try to get a first down. And again, the clock down to 1:47. So Hamilton Tiger Cats, who have not won in advanced stadium since 2004. 14 straight losses. Chance to end the drought. They already ended one against the Stamps earlier this year, a 14-game losing streak, period. 15 including a Grey Cup. Evans, though, wants to throw. Banks again. Brandon Banks, as always, the difference maker, it seems, every time these two teams tangle.
Well, it looked like the Stampeders had Banks covered up as he comes across the field here. He seemed to get him picked up, but just as Dane Evans stayed alive for a few more seconds on this play, allowed Banks to continue running into a little bit of open space.
Banks will get a breather, but not for long. A little substitution issue here. Last minute, last second. They huddle up. 1:25 to go. Lots of time on the play clock, though. First and 10 from the Calgary 43. Double tight end set. And they'll run the ball to Coombs. Coombs brought down. Quickly throwing down. Mike Rose in the middle of it again. Just a yard. Brandon Banks will come back in. The idea now, I'm sure, for the Cats, they've got to be thinking first downs, as many first downs as possible, clock coming down, and keep you-know-who off the field.
Yeah, you know it. Don't give Bo Levi Mitchell a chance to beat you.
Even if they get a field goal, you do not want to give Mitchell and the Stamps chance to win. Big second down here again. Last time in this situation, Evans was sacked. Slant pattern. Ackland short of a first down. So now a decision.
Yeah, I mean,
third and a very long. It's almost two. I think that's not even a decision. You've got to bring Hairelahu up.
Yeah, you can't gamble on that.
So now here's the rub. Hairelahu comes out. Missed his previous field goal. A miss, a possible single still ties the game. There are two returners back for Calgary. I'm sure the mission is get the ball out.
Exactly. Cover the whole end zone.
Well, this is a huge attempt for Lirim Hairelahu for the lead in a place they never seem to win. From the 42. The hold by Evans. The kick is blocked. It's blocked. Calgary football. Trey Roberson comes flying in. Penalty flag down. That was after
this
the
was
block.
In the Calgary celebration. People came running off the sidelines to celebrate.
And that block just blocked Hamilton's opportunity to win.
The blocked field goal did not cross the line of scrimmage. It was recovered by Hamilton. Yards were not gained. The ball will be turned over on downs to Calgary. The penalty is objectionable conduct on the Calgary bench. So 10-yard penalty, first down Calgary.
Trey Roberson just leapt to the sky and swatted that down. Not in my house.
Perfectly timed. Perfectly placed. I mean, you get one shot, right? And if your arms aren't exactly in the flight of that ball, it's not like you can wave and react to it once you're in the air.
Roberson, who had an interception in this ball game, 7 on the season, has had 8 knockdowns. And there goes Carey, and the clock will tick down here. And Calgary should easily, unless something completely unforeseen happens, ride to victory again and make it 15 in a row at home against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who just must think this place is Death Valley.
Turnovers proving costly for the Hamilton Tiger Cats today. Trey Roberson interception late in the first half. Brandon Banks fumble and Dane Evans fumble forced by Cordero Law. And then this big block by Roberson, the leaper. You know, and such is the challenge on a longer field goal, as your trajectory is going to be a little bit lower, and it creates that risk.
Ray Roberson, the grandson of Football Hall of Famer Larry Highball, who had so many great games in this league. 2nd and 3, that'll do it. Move the sticks. Calgary can get ready to move east next week, and they're going to put some heat on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the west. Move to 8 and 4. Hamilton will stay in and try to salvage one on their Alberta trip. They have Edmonton next week at Commonwealth. Stampeders, who squandered so many opportunities to score in this ball game, but Orlando Steinauer knows all those turnovers were when his team had momentum and they were mounting drives. They too could have put points on the board.
Well, they certainly could have. You think of that interception in particular, where they were within field goal range. You know, but also looking at special teams again, carrying forward that theme from last game. Hamilton with a missed field goal in the second half of this game, and a field goal that was blocked against them in the second half. All plays that potentially change the outcome of this ball game.
Well, mistakes can hurt you, particularly in playoff-style environments. It was a November-style game in September. And the McMahon mastery continues for the Stampeders, and the McMahon misery continues.